Hello, welcome back to Thrive Live. Hi, Jason. Hi, Ray. How you doing, guys?
Doing
Great.
great.
All
Great.
is
Hey, Beth.
well. Almost this first day of December, November 30th, but we're
Yes,
close to December.
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Christmas shopping. I'm almost done. I just want to tell you, I start in October or earlier for Christmas shopping.
You get all your
So,
Taylor Swift tickets for your daughter? Is that off your list?
can I tell you right now that Taylor Swift just had on her website a huge markdown, and my daughter has sent me message after message after message during the school day. If any teachers are watching, I blame you. Mom, this shirt would fit me in size medium. Mom, da 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 da. And I'm like, how's your homework going? How's your schoolwork going? And she's like, but mom, Taylor Swift, Taylor Swift, Taylor Swift. I may
Well,
or may not have purchased a or a few Taylor Swift shirts that were on a very good pricing for
but
her.
Uh-huh.
daughter, the ticket cost $5,000. So
No, I told you
for-
I was ready to buy the big tickets, and then because of the glitch, I ended up with the cheapest tickets in the arena. But we're in the arena and we're on the 50-yard line, although we're on the sixth level, but we're on the 50-yard line. So,
There you
we're
go.
good.
Oh, good.
So my daughter thinks
Yeah.
I've got all this extra cash to go blow on Taylor Swift junk.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you know
Well,
what? Yeah, that was definitely a catastrophe.
so bad. So bad.
Speaking
Yeah.
of catastrophes,
Catastrophes. Good
Yeah.
segue. Here we go.
we are talking about FTX today. If you've not heard of FTX, and I don't know how you probably have not, but FTX is the crypto company that was located in the Bahamas that went belly up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And and it's interesting because they were a crypto exchange, had you know raised tons of money, had uh celebrities pushing
Very high
their
profile.
product, very high profile.
Yeah.
They put their name on the Miami Dolphins stadium, and because they've gone belly up and filed for bankruptcy, uh, other exchanges uh, started to get a run on people wanting their money. And
Mhm.
uh, because of FTX, we've had three other exchanges also file for bankruptcy. Jason, you got the names right?
Yeah, so Celsius, Voyager, and FI. BlockFi went out of business because of the downstream effects from FTX going out of business. Now, I'm trying to remember, and I thought I had it here. What was FTX's overall worth or claimed worth? Do we remember what that
Oh, I
was?
mean they were in the billions. I mean they were an Uber unicorn.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
something like, I don't know. It was
Yeah,
150. Was it 450 billion?
Oh,
yeah,
something.
exactly. Yeah, it was just it's crazy, and it was a large organization.
Mhm.
Uh, but one of the things that we found interesting about the whole situation with FTX is, uh, they really had zero corporate controls.
No internal controls. Wah,
Exactly.
wah, wah.
Yeah.
Nothing. Not
Nothing.
Yeah.
HR.
Yeah.
Not a
Yeah.
good
But why would
accounting.
you, right? Like,
Yeah.
if you're a shyster, I watch. My husband watches that. What is that CNN show? And it's about the people who scam people. I can't remember
Yeah.
the name of it, but
Yeah.
it's a series. Anyway, he records it. He watches it. So every night when I walk in to go to bed, he's already got that show on, and I'm hearing about all the people who have scammed people through the years.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
just thinking this one in particular is going to be an entire week long series of this show,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, all
They'll
the
make a
things that
mini
they
series out
did.
of this one.
It's insane. But
Yeah.
not having internal controls, I think, is a major part of their downfall. If they had a group, if they had, I don't know, an HR group.
That's right. Internal audit.
Yes.
Somebody to make sure that the money was actually in the bank versus
Right.
you know uh, you know for fake accounts. there's just, as they say, when it's too good to be true, there's probably a reason. And I
Mhm.
think this is one of those examples where, they just grew so fast. They were spending money, hand over fist, and basically trying to keep more money coming in to pay for their expenses. And
Mhm.
unfortunately, there weren't, the money wasn't being invested where it should have been, which was in cryptocurrency. And so it's one of those things that you really, you hate for folks that have been impacted,
Mhm.
but it's also another reason why we think there needs to be just a lot of scrutiny, assessment, and the right kind of people in the organization to make sure that the right decisions are being made.
Well, if you work in a company or you're investing in a company, or and a company's investing in you, these are questions you need to ask. Like, what is your internal audit function like? What is your
Mhm.
HR department like? What is your accounting department like? And if a company doesn't have that, one, hey, red flag. Uh, but two, maybe you should ask them. And if you're an employee or you're a director or VP or whatever, and you're joining an organization, you probably should demand that you bring in people that can do that kind of accountability, that can provide those kinds of safeguards. And that's what we do for a lot of organizations that
Mhm.
particularly maybe don't want to hire people to do that, so they bring us in. And so this is basically somewhat of a plug, and I think it's actually a good plug, that you need to have competent people, competent organizations coming in and helping manage your internal controls. And that includes HR, and hey, how are people getting paid? How are we doing this? And so it's really important, because this keeps coming up time and time again, that there seems to be these shysters, or as I like to call them, grifters, that come through and you know take advantage of people and take tons of money. And nobody will ever go to jail over this.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
You
especially
don't think
yeah,
he's going to go away for this?
nobody ever goes. When's the last time anybody went to jail for anything?
yeah. Well,
Well,
and then
I'm
the
Except
just
for
other thing
Martha
saying.
too is,
Stewart.
yeah, the other thing too is that there's a reason why these guys are headquartered and living in the
The
Bahamas,
Bahamas. Yep.
because
Bahamas.
there's
Mhm.
no extradition, there's no accountability,
Mhm.
and that's a real issue, and folks have got to realize that,
And
and I mean we're
And remember the guy from Enron who
Mhm.
has taken over the proceedings and taken over FTX to basically the fire sale, or the dumpster fire that is, said this is the worst company he's ever seen for internal controls and abuse of funds and money. He took over Enron and he said it was worse than Enron. So
Yeah. Uh-uh.
that's like, oh my god, let that sink in.
yeah,
Elon,
yeah,
with your sink coming in the door. But yeah, let
yeah,
that sink in.
yeah. And the other thing too is, I mean, and we're in the middle. We met yesterday, uh, to put together a plan for an HR audit of an organization, where we want to they want to make sure that going into 2023, you know what do they have as far as policies? What do they need? What's missing? What are some of the compliance problems that they've got? And then with that information, we're going to help them build out a plan, a roadmap for 2023, so that they
Mhm.
have all their things buttoned up from an HR and compliance perspective. That's what companies need to do.
Mhm.
Uh, and clearly, this is something that organizations like FTX probably needed them badly, probably a year ago.
Most companies
Unfortunately,
spend an inordinate amount of time on policy and SOX and procedures. And so that's just standard practice. So if you're somewhere and your Sam Bankman Fried is not spending much time on compliance, then potentially a problem. You might want to make some calls and talk to some people about your version of Sam.
Yeah, yeah. Polish up that resume because you may need it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, but no, I think it's this is a and we've been talking about cryptocurrency for the last 18 months, and we still think that employees really want to uh, you know invest in, hold cryptocurrency.
Mhm,
Uh, we really think that this is a competitive advantage for organizations that can figure out how to do this the right way. And unfortunately, things like this really, kind of put a blemish on that market
mhm.
because, it's a true market. People are investing in it. Unfortunately, one of the things we talk about is, make sure that the exchange that you use is reputable and, that they know what they're doing. They've got the right controls in place
Right.
because they're holding your cryptocurrency, your money, and it's kind of important.
Well, you're being kind. You say blemish. I say it's like a broken, bloody nose after you just came out of 3 rounds with Tyson. I mean, to me, that's what it's like right now for crypto, unfortunately. I
Yep,
mean, we
yep.
believe in crypto, but this is not a good look, crypto. Not a good look.
No,
Um,
exactly.
but this stuff just it happens over and over again.
Mhm,
You look at Enron, you look at WorldCom, you look at Bernie Madoff, now you look at FTX. I mean,
mhm,
there's probably 10 or 15 that I've missed in the conversation. But people need to be sophisticated about when they're getting involved with these companies. Hey, Tom Brady and Giselle, what what is the how is your corporate structure run? What do you do? I mean, how do you function? How do you manage? I mean, I know they like their big checks, but even if you're being paid by a company to be a what is it, an influencer and talk about them and be part of it, you have a responsibility to do due diligence to make sure it's a well-run organization. Now obviously you're not going to do the due diligence, but I think your people have a
mhm.
responsibility to you and to others that you're selling on this to do due diligence. And so if they don't have these kind of mechanisms, you should force them to have these kind of mechanisms or don't do business with them. And that's why companies like ours and others exist, so that we can come in and do that work. And I think it's super, it's just the right, it's not even super important, it's just the right thing to do to make sure a company is operating in the way that it's supposed to.
And this is what Thrive HR does. I mean, this is what you guys do. This is your base. You do this for corporations. You do this for other companies. Why not bring in an expert, Thrive HR, or someone similar to come in and make sure that you don't screw the pooch?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean that's
Yeah,
true. I mean, I've run, I've been the SOX officer at various companies I've been at. I've been responsible for HIPAA at other companies that I've been at. I've had all sorts of sign-offs that I've had to do, and write my name in blood and be subject to 20 years in prison if this wasn't right or that wasn't right. So Ray and I have a lot of experiences, and even right now we're talking to a company in the Bay Area, and we're doing a lot of work with them around um, you know a lot of compliance issues, and a lot of privacy issues that we're trying to make sure are taken care of for them. And so we're working on the GDPR with them. So there's a lot of things that and I can't even imagine just the GDPR issues that FTX violated. I'm sure there's just a million of those. So yeah, we do that, and this is what you have to have in a corporation. Any kind of company needs to do these things, and to be a viable, growing concern, and not essentially a Ponzi scheme.
yep, exactly. And like Jason said, I mean, we're in the middle of a GDPR assessment. Trying to figure out where to house employee data, where it's secure, and who's got access to that data. For an organization, and those are the things you have to do, and you have to do them well because uh, you know you don't want employee data to be out in the on the dark web. That's the last thing you want to do. Just like you don't want the lack of controls to cause your company to go belly up, and in this case, not only go bankrupt, but also you know a lot of people have lost their life savings, their
Mhm.
retirement fund. I mean, so it's a brutal situation for people right now that are in the middle of this, and we
Mhm.
really feel for them, and we really want to offer any help, definitely as we go into the holidays.
I know the Miami Heat players were driving to FTX Stadium every day, and they knew where they played, and they said, "We're driving to FTX Stadium." Now they don't know where they need to go. To me, they could miss a game. They could essentially default and not show up against the Warriors or the Grizzlies or something.
So
That's a huge concern of mine.
I've worked many a show where I have stood next to the camera with the name of the new stadium in big Sharpie letters so that the talent says, "Welcome back to FTX Stadium," instead of
Well,
in
somebody
fact,
will be
one time
hired.
I had my
Yeah.
daughter she came on the show with me, a few years ago, and wanted to be a part of the show. And so I gave her my little sign to go stand by the camera and hold it. And she thought she's like, "Mom, I think this can be my new career." And I'm like, "Yeah, sure. At 13, you can hold the sign up every time." Good
She could
job.
probably make $100,000 going over to the FTX state and doing that. I mean,
That's right. That's
it's
right.
probably a big job there.
But
That's,
that's another part of the downfall of all of this. The funds that were promised to the stadium, however their agreement was, now the stadium's going to find, they've got to find their new sponsorship. They've got to find those new dollars to keep the people employed. I mean, it's so many, this snowball just keeps growing and growing and growing from this.
Yeah, they
yeah.
got to find another sponsor that wants to cough up $150 million in a tight economic environment. And as I read,
Welcome to Thrive HR Consulting Stadium in Miami.
That's right.
yeah, I think we can afford about 5 minutes of a
Yeah,
potentially
that
Welcome
one.
to the Thrive HR Consulting bathroom in
yeah,
Yeah,
Miami.
exactly.
yeah,
The Thrive
yeah,
HR Consulting one hot dog that we're
yeah.
sponsoring.
Exactly. But no, you're right. And thinking about this, now we know that now we know why some of this top talent influencers probably get paid up front.
Yeah, for sure.
you know, versus waiting for 30 or 60 days, like a lot of us
Mhm.
other firms have to get paid.
We
But
have
Well,
to wait 60 days. Gosh, I didn't know anybody did that. Oh, yeah, that's right. We wait. But yeah, I mean, exactly. So all these people who get, hundreds of millions of dollars up front, these influencers to do these things, and they put very little effort into what they're pitching. I know I said this already, but it's just wrong. And that's not how corporations, it's not how things should work or do work. I mean, we have to be, and we want to be incredibly ethical and upfront and do all the right things. And that's super important. But these people that are not on our same standards, that just think that it's not right, and people need to start asking more hard questions. And I'm sorry, I'm going to take on Tom Brady and Giselle again, but we need to ask some hard questions. Why are you investing in this? What is what do you know about the fundamentals of this organization? Why are you standing up for them? What do you know? And so I think anybody who starts doing these things, we need to be more critical and ask more critical questions. Just because they stand up and do it doesn't mean we should immediately buy into it. We can't do that anymore. And they need to help safeguard people's funds. It's their fiduciary relationship.
we hear a lot about social responsibility. There's some information out. There's a very high dollar brand of which I own zero called Balenciaga, but I do see it all over the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills shows. They're all decked out in Balenciaga. But Balenciaga just had this horrific ad campaign. Do you guys know about this?
Yes, I do.
Horrible.
Yeah,
So
it's
they
really
had this
challenging.
ad campaign of children holding these handbags that are shaped like that are like a stuffed animal, but it's a handbag. But what they did was they wrapped this stuffed animal in BDSM gear, like in bondage gear. And there's a young child, like a 4-year-old, 3-year-old, holding this teddy bear that's wrapped in like, bondage, sitting in front of a table filled with wine glasses. And in the background is, which I didn't even look because I looked at the campaign, I couldn't see the paperwork, but there's a front page paper from a court case that talks about pedophilia in this photo shoot. Like, what on God's planet was anyone thinking? But now, like, Kim Kardashian has come out with a statement that says basically, hey guys, do better. I'll reevaluate later my relationship with you. So thanks. And it's like
it was four. Yeah, it was. I saw them yesterday. It was 4 pictures. They're very unfortunate pictures. There's a lot going on in each picture.
Yes.
I just think that's another one where we're just saying, hey, social responsibility.
Social responsibility. Don't hitch your wagon to anyone that you can't be proud of. And if there aren't safeguards in one way or another, whether it's financial safeguards, marketing safeguards, someone to stand in the background and go, I think that's kind of wonky, guys. Let's rethink this.
Yeah, exactly.
Then don't be a part of the business in any form or fashion. It's not hard. Do what's going to make your grandma proud. If your grandma's not going to be proud of it, step away.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, exactly. No. There's some simple questions people need to ask themselves, and do they want to be associated or not? And if you can't feel good about something showing up in the paper the next day with your name on it, then that's probably a problem, and or being associated with an ad like that. So it's just folks have got to be more responsible.
Do I go and do my 5-second Kim Kardashian rant?
Oh, yes.
Because you did get me started.
All right, you want me to give you a beat? You gonna sing it?
No. I'm just gonna say it. So basically, here's what just drove me crazy yesterday. So her ex-husband, who I'm not gonna name, but he now has to pay her child support of $200,000 a month. So I don't really believe Kim Kardashian deserves needs $200,000. She probably deserves it, yeah. But does she need $200,000 a month? I don't think so. So I'd really love to see her donate that $200,000 to some sort of really worthy charity, because I think there's other children out there that deserve that money rather than her kids. But that's my rant, and so that's all I'm going to say. But got to do the right thing. So I think this is a show all about doing the right thing, and we want to help companies do the right thing and help companies walk the ethical path.
Yep. So true. So true.
There we go.
All right, great.
So in order to get in touch with you guys, Ray, how does someone get in touch with you if they have questions about walking the path of ethical?
Yeah, it's just Ray, REY at thrivehrconsulting.com. Or hit us on our website. The emails will come directly to us, and there's our phone numbers are there too.
And it's Jason at Thrive HR Consulting, and you can reach me there.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Do the right thing. That's everyone's task all week in all aspects. Do the right thing.
Exactly. Miami Heat, use GPS. Get to the right stadium.
All right.
All right, guys. Have a really great day. Thanks a lot. Thanks for joining us. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.